That was Modern Sex Trash here on your rock station, 96.7 iRock. They are my guests tonight on the Local Music Showcase. They are a new band out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. You may be familiar with some of their members, Tim Java and Phil Merriman. They were both members of Dead to Fall, good friends of my show, Radio Anarchy, when that was on the air. They were good enough to hook us up with tickets to their shows. They'd always do interviews whenever they were in town. Good friends of the show. Well, they've moved on to this new band, Modern Sex Trash. It's a little bit different. They're on their own record label, and I was lucky enough to be joined on the phone earlier this week with Tim and their lead singer, Andrew. Let's start right off from the beginning. Explain how the new record label is going to be working.
So basically what we're trying to do with Panacea 3 is follow the new wave of where music is going, and mainly the only thing that has changed has been the distribution method. You know, people are still making music, people still want to hear it, but the way that it's getting to them has completely changed. And the physical package, as far as I'm concerned, is totally out of the question when you're a new band, because people don't want to have to pay a sticker price of $10 to $15 just to hear all your tracks. So our philosophy is to give away the music for free and then make sure that it's accessible to as many people as possible. Tim, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think especially coming, like you had mentioned, from like Phil and I's background as far as being in kind of the touring circuit and kind of relying on the record label or what has now become basically a glorified banking system, we've just really learned that, you know, kids can't really afford to, you know, go to all these different shows on top of buying records, especially when now they're so used to just getting it for free. So in terms of being a musician and trying to branch out as far as many different styles and using the internet and things nowadays, that, you know, we can reach many different fan bases. Phil and I are really excited to be doing some different stuff here. You know, obviously different from the metal crowd, but we've already seen a few people, you know, that we've been talking to that didn't really expect to hear something quite like this, but they're really digging it just because they understand the philosophy of where we're coming from and trying to stay connected to the fans.
Definitely, and it's always, you could totally tell that you're going to do a lot better embracing the change than trying to go against it, like you guys said.
Yeah, I mean, so many people, I mean, the old labels and everything, they're dinosaurs, and they're machines that have hundreds, if not thousands of people built into a system that can't change overnight. You know, we're comprised of like 8 people who are all young, and if we want to change our strategies or our distribution method overnight, we can, and we have the ability to do so. But one thing I wanted to mention, too, is the way that we are releasing the material. Not album or work-based. It's strictly, I mean, I guess you could call them singles, but more or less we want to show people the evolution of the music. So we're releasing track by track by track. And what this allows us to do is not to disappear for a year. Once we build up our fan base, people aren't like, oh, where did those guys go? You know, I haven't heard from them in a year, and, you know, we're not releasing just in the studio videos. You know, every time we finish a track, we write it, we polish it, we get it into the studio, and then we put it out right to the fans, and you can get it for free.
I actually I have an argument with an ongoing staff member here at iRock about that whole situation. He says that he likes the build up and to wait and then to hear, you know, 15 tracks from a band all at once that he waited like 12 months for. But I'm on your wavelength. I want to hear exactly what you're doing at this time and what it's going to be like, because if you do write a song and then it's in the can for 6 months and then it comes out later, it might not be as relevant as it was at the time. It may not even be the style that you want to be doing. I agree with the way that you guys are trying to do it, where you want to know exactly what your band's up to at that time and the style that they're working on with, you know, what's going on right then.
Yeah, and I mean, it allows us to be a lot more excited about the material too, because I mean, as artists, when you're creating something, you know, you have that energy and that excitement about creating something new. And like you said, when it's in the can for 6 months, by the time it comes out, you know you've already got better songs, you like your newer stuff better, and so this way it just alleviates all of that.
In terms of getting something launched, it's just people are looking for something right now.
All right, you guys want to touch on when everything's going to kick off for Modern Sex Trash?
September 20th, which is going to be our first show, which is our release party. We're going to release 2 music videos, 7 tracks, including our official website. So that's basically the rundown of what's going down.
And everybody has access to all this stuff for free, or, you know, they can pay a certain amount for higher quality versions of either the song or video, and everybody has access to that by signing in, creating a username and password through their email at modernsextrash.com.
And that'll be launching on the 20th, the same day as the kickoff show?
Yeah, I mean, the phrase we've been kind of using is basically everything September 20th.
This is your rock station, 96.7 iRock. We are in the local music showcase with Modern Sex Trash. Right now, we're going to get to their last track, but before we do, Andrew's going to explain exactly where the name Modern Sex Trash came from.
At first glance, it's hard to tell what it's about. And for me, it started off as a very negative lens or negative view on society, and kind of really being literal that generations that are being produced are modern sex trash, and literally just how we're kind of turning into drones and clones more and more every day, and just consuming and just being told what to buy and just being spoon-fed everything. And now for me in my own head, starting off with that kind of negative view and that negative lens, I'm kind of treating it now personally as more like a challenge. You know, it's like if I started off a show and said, "Hi, we're modern sex trash, and so are you." You know, that sounds kind of negative, but at the same time, I kind of wanted to get people to start thinking, like, am I modern sex trash?